welcome in to Talking FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. When exactly will football be returning? The chaos right now, it is continuing, but in today's video I'm going to try and shed some light here on exactly what's going on behind the scenes at UEFA with La Liga and also the Premier League. In today's video, it's all coming up. Big meetings and big decisions are taking place. And if we kick off first of all with the big breaking news, and this of course comes after UEFA held an important meeting today. That was a really vital meeting in the calendar that everybody there was anticipating what was going to happen, what decisions were going to be made today. UEFA there held that meeting along with conference calls with its 55 member associations there. All of the clubs, all of the leagues were involved here in making these sort of decisions, and everybody came together to try to find that solution. And UEFA have now confirmed that Euro 2020 has been postponed until the summer of 2021. Now, the Euros, of course, which was set there to be staged across 10 different European cities, that was due there to start in June, but instead it's pushed back to 2021 from June the 11th to July the 11th there. Euro 20 has become Euro 2021, and of course at the same time this summer, Copa America 2020 was due to take place in Colombia and Argentina, and Copa America have also followed suit. They have postponed their tournament there, which was scheduled to begin on the 12th of June 2020. That has now been postponed until the summer of 2021, and what this all means is the federations here have come together to clear that summer schedule. Right now, the footballing calendar this summer, it is completely clear in order to allow the leagues to finish their seasons. That remains by far and away the priority now of all the domestic leagues. They want to finish their campaigns. La Liga, the Premier League have got a very, very important meeting coming this Thursday to decide on the fate there, with a number of different propositions on the table there to finish their season. But what I do have to say is, with regard to matches resuming at the start of April, like was anticipated just a few weeks ago, that right now is looking extremely unlikely, according to widespread reports right throughout the European nations, because the situation, of course, is extremely unstable. I think it's gotten considerably worse in a short space of time, and that April deadline now, that for me is definitely going to be pushed back. Already we're starting to hear May, June, that's when football may or may not return. But like I say, you cannot right now put a definitive date on it, because day by day, week by week, this situation, it's changing all the time. It's very unpredictable. We did yesterday, of course, speak about La Liga and exactly when we could expect them to resume, and it's exactly the same situation. Spain right now is one of the worst affected countries in the world, although Javier Tebas, like I said, very much intent that they do intend to resume the season. They do want to finish this season, and by no means are they looking there to void the current campaign and end it early. But of course, we're all thinking as well about the Champions League, about the Europa League as well, something there that UEFA are also very, very keen to get finished, to get the current campaign to its end. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly what they do with the Champions League. One alternative right now in order to finish this campaign that's been put forward, that's been reported there by a few different sources, is that they'll try and finish the Champions League campaign as it is right now, with single knockout matches only, abandoning two-legged ties. And what that would mean basically is, I think we probably finish the round of 16 stage. Of course, we've still got some second legs to play, and then after that, of course, you'd move on to the quarter-final. But from the quarter-final there to the semi-final and, of course, the final, those would all be then one-legged ties. There wouldn't be home and away. There wouldn't be away goals. It would be randomly drawn there. As the draw is made, you'd either be home or you'd be away, and it would be luck of the draw. That is one thing there that's been put forward, basically to speed up that process, to get the games done, to get this season completed as quickly as you possibly can. And with that same sort of attitude, another situation that's been put forward, another there alternative that we could go to really move things along, is a Final Four style tournament for the Champions League. That's been proposed there as we get to the closing stages, the semi-final, the final there. What could happen is those games could be played within a 4-day period. You could play the semi-final, maybe a one-off game, and then just a few days later, then go and play the final to get it wrapped up. And believe me, it's not going to be ideal. You are not going to see, unfortunately, the Champions League continue exactly as we left it. Football football right now simply cannot continue in the way that we expected just a few weeks ago. Just a few weeks ago, everything seemed to be normal. Everything seemed to be moving along just fine. And now everything is changing. And unfortunately, something is going to have to suffer. Some of these games are going to have to suffer in order to get this done, in order to get it finished. And in particular, with the Champions League and Europa League, I think that's a much more difficult process than your normal domestic leagues. La Liga, Premier League, Bundesliga, Liga 1, Serie A. They will get their season done. At some point during the summer, they'll try and get the games going, providing the situation does improve, providing things do get better. They will try and get out on the field. But the Champions League and Europa League, it's a much more difficult process simply because you're incorporating their different nations coming together. You're talking there about travelling fans, about players there travelling between nations. And right now, in terms of the border situation, that is not ideal. It's a very, very difficult obstacle right now to overcome, because you look right now at the big European teams left in the Champions League. You think about Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real right now are still there, Juventus, Napoli, and you look there at a lot of the Italian teams, Spanish sides, and those countries there are two of the worst affected nations right now, right throughout the world, not just in Europe, right throughout the world. Italy and Spain are so affected by the virus, and that's the real problem right now. How is it going to be possible to get teams there travelling to those nations, going in and out freely? It's simply not possible right now. And even with those games that you may say, get them done behind closed doors, but even then, you're still putting people at risk. You're still putting there the players out in the field. You look at clubs there like Juventus with Rugani tested positive there for the coronavirus. You look at Valencia, they've had several cases throughout their club there, players and staff who've tested positive. And you just realise here that footballers, they're not robots. They're human just like the rest of us. They can certainly be susceptible to the virus. They've got wives, they've got girlfriends, they've got children, they've got parents, they've got grandparents. And you don't want to be a carrier of the virus in this situation. So you can't just throw the players out there and expect them to go and play the games, go and finish the season, no matter what the situation is, because they're at risk too. Everybody right now has got to come together. By no means is this situation an easy one. I think the governing bodies, there is so much money involved right now. There are so many different things that you've got to try and iron out. Because, of course, if you finish the season in the summer, the players then don't really get their holidays as such. You don't get your pre-season campaigns. When then do you start the next season? What sort of knock-on effect does that have to the summer tournaments next summer? You've also got FIFA's brand new Club World Cup that was supposed to take place next summer too, which may not happen now. And all these things together, it's one big knock-on effect. And that's what I'm saying here. There is so much still to iron out. UEFA today in that big meeting. Like I say, the Premier League on Thursday, that's a big meeting too. But believe me, this is going to be a process that takes time, that takes many different aspects into consideration. But hopefully, at the end of all that, hopefully there can be light at the end of the tunnel. And believe me, when football does return, won't it be incredible? And also, guys, just thinking there about one thing that we haven't really brought into consideration, one thing that hasn't really been raised right now. If you then move the football into the summer, if you're then going to finish your season during the summer months, suddenly then, that transfer window period, it comes into play. Are we going to be in a situation whereby we're playing football with the transfer window ongoing, like it would be perhaps in the January window? And also, you've got to think about many clubs with players having their contracts expiring. Because, of course, come June the 30th, many players will find themselves at the end of the deal. They might find themselves in the last year of their deal, and suddenly then there could be football being played right across that period. And that's another thing there that could cause uncertainty. You've got the ending of loans, you've got players coming back in when you wouldn't really have expected that to happen. So many different things are ongoing. Like I say, there's so much to think about. But of course, I will keep you updated as best as I possibly can, and I've got some big videos coming up too. I'm still working on many things to bring you guys and to keep you updated as best as I possibly can. I'm going to be looking there at the players that we have out on loan, how they've done this season. We're going to be looking back at some classic Barcelona matches to really get you guys feeling nice and nostalgic. And we're also going to be looking at Barcelona's most influential signings over the course of their history. All of that stuff is going to be coming up, along with the FIFA and Football Manager series. You won't be bored. I can promise you that. I'm still trying to give you everything. And so thanks, as always, for watching, guys. Please do leave your thoughts in the comments down below. How do you think the football world should continue? How exactly should we get the seasons back on track? What will be your solution? Let me know in the comments down below. I will see you soon with plenty more to come. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.